Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Financial 15. Going back to CPP, we've done a few videos on this, but we get some great feedback, and we're happy to keep answering questions on CPP. And today we're going over the CPP Enhancement. What is it? What do the benefits look like? How can it impact my retirement? Lots of great information. You want to stick around.
Yes, this seems to be the favorite topic for anyone out there is the CPP stuff. We've done a lot of videos on it. You can really check them out and see what's going on. Today, we're dealing with the enhancement, but other ones we've had, go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. You can get a whole bunch of great content there, not only on CPP, but other areas as well. Also, like us on Facebook if you can, and especially check out our website at beckerorr.com. Great content, not only from video, but there's blogs and a whole bunch of other stuff to deal with. But today, we are dealing with the CPP enhancement, how it's going to boost your retirement, what it's going to do. We're moving from 4.95 for the longest time. What are the basics, Clint?
Yeah, and we need some context. We got to start with those basics. CPP, a reminder for everyone, it's a monthly pension. It's indexed. It pays for life in retirement, but you got to pay into it, right? So you pay into CPP. That determines how much you get out of CPP, how much you pay into it. You already hit the nail on the head there, Kevin. It used to be 4.95%. You can see the highlighted number there in 2022. It's now 5.7%. And it's up to a limit up to $64,900. Those numbers keep changing. That's part of the enhancement. We'll talk about that. And if you're self-employed, you pay both halves. You pay both the employee and the employer portion. So it's not just 5.7%, it's 11.4%. So a higher number if you're self-employed. That's the first part of the basics here. Kevin, walk us through the second piece here.
Yeah, the second part is, again, normal start age for CPP is 65. If you do take it at 65 and you've contributed to the maximum pension allowable, it is $1,253 change. Now, the average monthly rate, though, is never usually that. What we're finding is the average rate is a little over 700 at 702.77 cents. But what you can do is you also have options with CPP. You can either take it early as 60 if you want to, but the earlier you take it from 65, there's a penalty. That penalty is 0.6% per month up to 65 or a 36% reduction. By the same token, you can also delay your CPP. You can take it later, all the way up to 70 before you have to start it, and you get a bonus. That bonus is 0.7% per month or an extra 42% that you can add on to there. So when you want to take it, it's going to have a huge factor as to whether you're getting a certain amount here or a certain amount there. But what we've done with this, we've gone from the 4.95 into the new regime of the enhancement. Clint, what is the enhancement that we're dealing with, and how is it going up, and where's it going to go to?
Yeah, so I pulled up the Government of Canada website here, canada.ca. You see the CPP contribution rates, maximums, exemptions. It's a big table. And two columns to look at. First is the employee-employer contribution rate. You can see for a number of years, pretty steady here, Kevin, at 4.95%. It was like clockwork.
No change.
And then 2019, the enhancements kick in. Now suddenly it's 5.1, and then the next year 5.25, and 5.45. You can see the 2022 number 5.7, and it's going to go up yet again. So we've been paying more into CPP, both the employee and the employer. In addition, and this hasn't changed. This has been like that for a while, but you'll notice the yearly maximum keeps going up. In 2010, it was $47,200. Every year it gets bumped up a little bit. Now in 2022, it's up to $64,900. Income above that, you no longer contribute to CPP. So the income keeps rising, the maximum, and then the amount you contribute has been going up. The amount you contribute, that increase, Kevin, has to do all with the enhancements. So we're going to go through a few details here of what exactly that means, and we'll look at the outcome of it. So in terms of like how much benefit you're going to get from all these extra enhancements. So I'm going to pull this up here so we can go through them. We'll start with the enhancement in terms of the details here, Kevin. Started in 2019. What kind of payout was expected?
Yeah, exactly. Up until that 2019 point, what had basically gone on with CPP was they wanted to make sure that they replaced basically 1/4 of your average working earnings. That way, it was something that you could supplement towards a pension plan you've had or savings that you've dealt with. But the government wanted to give you some money where you've contributed in, your employers contributed in, so you had money coming down the road that would replace, as we mentioned, about 1/4. But all of a sudden, back in 2019, they figured, well, maybe this isn't enough and we should enhance it. So the enhancement now means that CPP is likely to grow to try and replace 1/3 of your average working earnings. So beforehand, it was just 1/4. Now we're moving it up to 1/3, which is why you're seeing these gradual steps and percentage increases going forward so that we can start to get to that scenario. And this leads us to step one, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, a couple of steps here. Government doesn't do things overnight here, Kevin. You need to have lots of bureaucracy, multiple steps, and you
Yes.
can see 1/4 to 1/3. Now you can see the details here. This is right from the Canada.ca website. It tells you the increment increase in that contribution rate. So it was 4.95%. 2019 goes up to 5.1, then 5.25. There's still another level yet. We're at 5.7. The intent is next year it goes to 5.95. Or if you're
Yes.
self-employed, that's 11.9%. That's a large
Wow.
contribution to CPP at 11.9. So this is right from the Canada.ca website. You can see how they've slowly been increasing the contribution rate over the years, and they'll increase it again in 2023. But the idea here is you pay more in, you get more out. So you're adding more to the CPP. It means you're going to get a larger contribution in the end, a bigger benefit. And then talk about multiple steps here. There's still another step after 2023, Kevin. You're going to introduce the second ceiling. What is all that about?
Yeah, I mean, basically what they're doing is 24 and 25. They're starting what's known as a second higher limit will be introduced. And that will allow you to invest an additional portion of your earnings into CPP. This new limit, as we've done, it's known as the year's additional maximum pension. So it's not going to replace the first ceiling, as we've mentioned, but instead it'll subject your earnings to 2 earnings limits. So that second earnings limit is where we're going to deal with. So up to 69.7, as they've shown, employee is 5.95 or 11.9 if you're self-employed. You can go for an extra almost 10 grand there at 8%, which is another 4% for the employee and 4% for the employer. So this enhancement will allow you to put away even more into that scenario so that, you know, you're increasing what your CPP enhancement is going to look like down the road.
Yeah, and this is for 2025. So multiple steps.
Yes.
Next year, they're upping the contribution rate again, and then they're going to be phasing in this the second ceiling component here. So the illustration is that as of 2025, you get that first amount, 69,700 in 2025. You'll be doing the 5.95, you and the employer. And then if you make more than that, there's now going to be another contribution rate for that bit, and it's going to be 8% or 4%, 4% for you, 4% for the employer. Some numbers for you here. If you do that, so 2025, you're now doing the second ceiling thing, you're getting the maximum on both rates. You do that for 40 years, you're going to get 50% boost to your overall CPP. So you said earlier, people are getting $1,200 at a maximum in today's dollars. Well, if you did this kind of 2 ceiling item, you max that out for a number of years, you'd be getting essentially $1,800 to $1,900 a month in today's dollars because you get a 50% boost to your CPP under this new program if you do max it out. So we have lots of details there of what's happening with CPP. I think the question most people have, though, Kevin, is what does it mean to them? How will it impact my retirement?
Well, yeah, and that's a big factor. I mean, if you're already retired, this basically doesn't apply to you. And the main reason is because you're no longer contributing into it. You've got no employer that you're working for. So you're not putting money away into the CPP. You're still going to get the benefits that you're getting right now. It's not really going to change. And if you're closer to retirement, it'll have some effect because you put in for a little while, but it's not going to have the same effect as you mentioned if you're young and just getting ready to start in. This is really where it's going to. It's the younger generation that's coming in, that's starting now, that's going to get that 1/3. Those closer to retirement, you get a little bit of a perk or a bonus, and those basically in retirement, you're dealing with where you are at the moment, and that's not really going to change. So it will affect depending on where you are in your work career and where you are in your life scale at this point in time.
And we should say, calling it a perk or a bonus, I mean, it's your money. You're putting money into the pension plan, right? So you're paying or adding to the investment pot here to get that benefit. So you get a larger benefit because you put more money in. And again, the timing here, it started 2019. So if you have made contributions since 2019, you're going to get some of the benefit of adding more money to CPP. You'll get a larger payout. And if you have many years, because again, steps here, they do these things in steps. By 2024, 2025, when it's fully phased in, if you have many years after that point, then you could see a much larger CPP in your retirement. So for folks in retirement and you're in retirement, this really isn't a big event, but for the younger generation, like you said, you're going to be adding a lot more to CPP and you'll be expecting a larger benefit to help with your retirement. So certainly something to keep in mind for the younger generation. But CPP is a big topic. We've got lots of questions on CPP, and there's whole different angles you can take to CPP. So if you have a question, whether it's on the enhancement, CPP, or even a different financial topic, please let us know. Go to chatwithclintonkevin.com. We'd love to hear from you. That's part of our website. We'll get back to you right away, answer your question. Anything you want to add, Kevin?
Yeah, I think that does it basically. The CPP enhancement will go along with the rest of our CPP scenarios. Remember, this will incorporate into your financial plan somehow down the line, depending on where you are. And we want to make sure that we address all those topics. Otherwise, that seems to cover our CPP for today. We'll be back with more CPP stuff, I'm sure, later down the road. But for now, we are sort of finished with this topic. Until next time.
Take care.